The rain had stopped just as Ethan Cole, CEO of one of the biggest tech companies in the city, stepped out of his sleek black car. The valet rushed forward to open his door, bowing slightly. Cameras flashed from nearby paparazzi who still lingered outside the restaurant. Ethan ignored them, as always. Inside, the Laria restaurant glowed with golden chandeliers and the quiet murmur of wealth. Waiters in white gloves glided past tables where laughter mixed with the soft notes of a live jazz band. Ethan removed his coat, revealing a tailored charcoal suit that fit perfectly, just like everything else in his life. Every move, every decision, was planned and executed to perfection. Everything, except the emptiness that followed him like a shadow. He sat down at a private table near the window. A chilled glass of water waited for him beside a single white rose. His assistant had insisted he come. Greater than, "You've been alone too long, sir," she'd said. "It's time you let someone in." He'd sighed but agreed. She'd shown him the woman's profile, a stunning model, successful, charming, the kind of woman who matched his status. It made sense. Love, after all, was a business deal for people like him, a negotiation between convenience and reputation. Now, glancing at his watch, he frowned. She was late. He was about to call it a night when the door opened. A young woman stepped in, slightly out of breath. She wasn't dressed like the other women here, no diamonds, no designer clutch. Just a simple floral dress, the color of faded lavender. Her hair was tied back in a loose bun, a few strands framing her face. She looked nervous. Ethan barely looked up, assuming she was a waitress or perhaps lost. But then she walked toward his table. Greater than Lily, hesitant, "Mr. Cole." He blinked, surprised. Greater than Ethan. "Yes. Lily. Hi, I'm Lily. Your date." He froze, the words hanging in the air. Greater than Ethan. "My date." Lily awkward laughed. "Yeah, I know. You were probably expecting someone else. Honestly, me too. My friend signed me up for that app as a joke. I didn't think anyone would actually respond." The corners of his mouth twitched, a mix of amusement and disbelief. Greater than Ethan. There must be some mistake. "My assistant said, Lily, you'd be meeting a model." She smiled self-consciously, clutching her worn purse tighter. Greater than Lily. "Well, I'm definitely not that. I'm just me." There was a pause, long enough for a waiter to approach and awkwardly place two menus on the table. Ethan could have left right then. He could have made an excuse, called his driver, and gone back to his penthouse filled with silence. But something about her, the honesty in her eyes, the nervous laughter, stopped him. He sighed softly and gestured to the chair across from him. Greater than Ethan. "You're already here. Sit. Let's make the best of it." Her smile lit up the space between them. Greater than Lily. "Are you sure? I don't want to waste your time." Ethan dryly, "If I leave now, I'll still have to eat alone. So, please, stay." Lily sat down carefully, smoothing her dress. Her hands trembled slightly as she picked up the menu. Greater than Lily. "These prices are, wow. One plate here probably costs my rent." Ethan chuckled despite himself. Greater than Ethan. "I suppose that's one way to break the ice." Their waiter returned, and Lily fumbled nervously, ordering something small. Ethan, used to polished conversation and perfect etiquette, found her clumsiness strangely refreshing. As dinner began, he expected silence. But Lily surprised him again. She started talking, not about fashion or fame, but about life. She told him about her little boy, Ben, who loved toy cars and chocolate milk. About working double shifts at a local diner to keep up with rent. About how, sometimes she wished the world slowed down long enough for people to see each other, really see each other. Ethan listened. For once, he didn't interrupt. Her words carried no agenda, no hidden motive. Just truth. Raw and simple. Greater than Lily, softly, "You probably think I don't belong here. You're right, but I guess, I wanted to feel like someone else for a night. Not a waitress, not a tired mom. Just someone worth dressing up for." Something inside Ethan shifted. The room's background noise faded. The music softened. All he saw was her, genuine, flawed, and somehow, beautiful. He leaned back, studying her as she laughed nervously at her own words. He had met hundreds of women before, elegant, polished, ambitious, but none who made him forget to check his watch. When the check arrived, Lily fumbled for her wallet. Greater than Lily. "Please, let me pay for my part. I don't want you thinking I came for." Ethan cutting her off. "Don't. It's my treat. Tonight was unexpected, but not unpleasant. Her cheeks flushed. Greater than Lily, smiling shyly, that's the nicest compliment I've gotten all year. As they stood outside, the night air felt lighter somehow. Rain glistened on the pavement, and neon reflections shimmered in puddles. Greater than Lily. Thank you, Mr. Cole, for not walking out. Ethan, genuine smile, you surprised me, Miss Hayes. Lily, grinning, good surprise or bad? Ethan, I haven't decided yet. She laughed, waved awkwardly, and disappeared down the street, leaving Ethan standing alone beneath the soft glow of the restaurant lights, watching her until she was gone. For the first time in a long while, Ethan Cole, the man who thought he'd seen it all, realized he hadn't. The city skyline stretched endlessly beyond the glass walls of Ethan's office. Sunlight glinted off skyscrapers, but he barely noticed. His mind kept replaying last night, her nervous laugh, her honesty, the way she spoke about her son like he was the center of her universe. He hadn't felt that warmth in years. His assistant Emily entered with her usual cheerful tone, breaking his thoughts. Greater than Emily. Morning, sir. About last night's dinner, should I arrange a follow-up with the model's agent? Ethan absent-mindedly, no. Cancel it, Emily. Cancel, but you haven't even. Ethan, it's fine. I already met someone. Emily paused mid-step, surprised. Greater than Emily. Someone. Like. Someone you actually liked. Ethan, smirking, I didn't say that. But the faint smile on his face said otherwise. Ext. Small diner. Evening. The next day, the steady hum of traffic filled the air as Ethan stood outside a small neighborhood diner, the Silver Spoon. Through the window, he saw her, Lily Hayes, in a simple uniform, hair tied up, carrying a tray of coffee cups with a tired but genuine smile. It didn't make sense. He had everything money could buy, yet here he was, standing outside a diner, watching a waitress like a schoolboy too nervous to knock. He finally walked in, and the tiny brass bell above the door chimed. Lily turned, her eyes widening in shock. Greater than Lily. Mr. Cole. Ethan. I was in the area. Lily, raising an eyebrow, you were in this area. Wearing that suit. Ethan, grinning, okay, maybe I took a wrong turn. They laughed softly, the sound blending with the chatter of customers and clinking dishes. Ethan took a seat at the counter. She poured him coffee, and he pretended not to notice how her hands trembled slightly. Greater than Lily. So, how's the high life treating you? Ethan. Lately, overrated. Lily. And what's a CEO doing in a diner like this? Ethan. Trying to understand how people live without 10 assistants. She rolled her eyes, chuckling. Greater than Lily. You'd be surprised how easy it is. No meetings, no stress, just endless bills and double shifts. Something about her voice, light yet weary, made him soften. He noticed the faint shadows under her eyes, the tiny crack in her nails, signs of exhaustion she hid behind humor. Greater than Ethan. You work hard. Lily, shrugging, you do what you have to. My son's 6, Ben. Smartest kid I know. Loves dinosaurs and thinks ketchup counts as a vegetable. Ethan smiled, an expression that felt foreign to him. Greater than Ethan. He sounds amazing. Lily. He is. He's everything. She hesitated, glancing down. Greater than Lily quietly, his dad left when I was pregnant. Haven't heard from him since. But honestly, I'm okay with that. Ben and I were enough. Ethan watched her, admiration replacing pity. Here was a woman who had every reason to give up, yet she kept smiling. Greater than Ethan. You don't let it break you. Lily. Break me. It tries to. But, if I fall apart, who takes care of him? He deserves a happy mom, even if I have to fake it sometimes. Her honesty disarmed him. Ext. Alley behind the diner. Later. Her shift ended. They stepped outside together. The air smelled like rain again. Neon lights reflected off puddles on the cracked pavement. Lily pulled her cardigan tighter. Greater than Lily. You didn't have to wait for me. Ethan. I wanted to. She smiled faintly. Greater than Lily. You know, most men I meet either pity me or look at me like I'm invisible. Ethan, gently, maybe they don't know how to look properly. Their eyes met. For a moment, the world went quiet, just the soft drizzle, the glow of streetlights, and the unspoken tension between two lonely souls. Greater than Lily. You don't belong here, Ethan. Not in my world. Ethan. Maybe I'm tired of mine. A car passed, breaking the silence. She laughed nervously. Greater than Lily. You say that now, but you'll wake up tomorrow and remember who you are. the CEO with a jet and a schedule and a reputation. Ethan, you think I care about that? Lily, I think you've built your whole life around it. Her words hit deeper than she realized. Because she was right. For years, he'd been living behind glass walls of perfection, admired but untouched. Ethan exhaled slowly. Greater than Ethan. Maybe that's why I can't stop thinking about you. Lily froze, caught off guard. Her pulse quickened, her voice barely a whisper. Greater than Lily. Don't say things you don't mean. Ethan, I've never meant anything more. A single raindrop fell on her cheek, gliding down like a tear. He reached out instinctively, brushing it away, gentle, almost reverent. For a moment, time stopped. The city lights blurred behind them, the rain turned to a shimmer, and two worlds, one of glass and one of struggle, stood inches apart. But Lily stepped back. Her eyes were soft but steady. Greater than Lily. You're kind, Ethan. But this isn't real. You'll go back to your world, and I'll still be here. He wanted to argue, to promise her it was real, but she was already walking away, her silhouette fading under the glow of the streetlight. Ethan stood there, alone again, except this time, it hurt. The next week passed in a blur. Meetings, contracts, and investors, all the things that once defined Ethan, now felt meaningless. His mind was elsewhere, on a small diner, a tired smile, and a little boy who loved dinosaurs. He caught himself checking his phone every few minutes, hoping for a message that never came. Greater than Ethan, to himself, you're losing it, Cole. But deep down, he knew he'd already lost something, his detachment. Lily had broken through walls he didn't even know he had. Hospital, late night. It was nearly midnight when Ethan's world tilted again. His phone buzzed with an unfamiliar number. Greater than voice panicked. Female, is this Mr. Cole? You're listed as the emergency contact for Lily Hayes. Ethan, stunned, what? Emergency contact. What happened? Voice. She collapsed at work. She's at St. Mary's Hospital. Ethan didn't wait to hear more. He grabbed his keys and bolted out into the rain. Ext. Street. Mary's Hospital. Rainy night. The hospital loomed in the mist like a ghostly fortress. Ethan burst through the doors, soaked to the bone, his heart pounding. He found her room, room 212, and froze in the doorway. Lily lay pale and still on the bed, IV lines running from her arm. Beside her, a small boy sat clutching her hand, tears streaking down his face. Greater than Ethan, softly, Ben. Ben, sniffling, Mommy got dizzy. She didn't wake up. Ethan knelt beside him, his chest tightening. Greater than Ethan. She's going to be okay, buddy. I promise. But even as he said it, he wasn't sure he believed it. Hospital room, moments later. The doctor entered, clipboard in hand. Greater than doctor. She's stable now. Severe exhaustion, malnutrition, and untreated anemia. Working multiple jobs took its toll. She'll need rest, real rest. Ethan's jaw tightened. Guilt washed over him. He thought about all the money he'd wasted on meaningless luxuries while she struggled to feed her child. When the doctor left, he turned to Ben. Greater than Ethan. How long have you two been doing this alone? Ben. Mom says it's okay. She says she doesn't need help. But she's tired a lot. The boy's voice cracked, and Ethan's heart broke completely. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small dinosaur figurine from his office shelf, a gift for his nephew he'd never delivered. Greater than Ethan. Here, this guy's called Rex. He's a fighter. Like your mom. Ben, managing a smile, thanks, Mr. Hospital. Next morning, when Lily woke up, the first thing she saw was sunlight, and Ethan sitting by her bed, still in last night's suit, his tie loosened, eyes red from lack of sleep. Greater than Lily, hoarse, Ethan, what are you doing here? Ethan, apparently, I'm your emergency contact. Lily, weak laugh, that must have been a mistake. Ethan, I don't think so. She tried to sit up, wincing. Greater than Lily, I told Ben not to worry anyone. Ethan, he did the right thing. Lily, you can't keep living like this. Lily, defensive, it's my life. My responsibility. Ethan, you're killing yourself to prove you don't need help. Her eyes filled with tears, not of weakness, but of frustration. Greater than Lily, you don't understand. People like me don't get help. We just survive. He leaned forward, his voice gentle. Greater than Ethan. Then let me help you survive. Or better yet, let me help you live. Her lips trembled. Greater than Lily. Why? You barely know me, Ethan. Because I know what loneliness looks like. And I see it in your eyes every time you smile. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then Lily whispered, greater than Lily. I don't want your pity, Ethan. Ethan. Good. Because this isn't pity. He reached for her hand, and she didn't pull away. Ext. Park. 2 weeks later. The world had changed quietly. Lily, healthier now, sat on a park bench watching Ben chase pigeons with a stick. Ethan joined them, holding 2 cups of coffee. Greater than Ethan. He's got your energy. Lily. He got my stubbornness too. I'm sorry if I pushed you away. Ethan, smiling, you had every reason to. I just wasn't smart enough to stay away. She laughed softly, a sound that felt like home. Greater than Lily. Ethan, I can't offer you the world you're used to. Ethan. Good. That world was cold. This one, gesturing at her and Ben, feels real. Ben ran back, holding 2 dandelions. Greater than Ben. One for you, Mom. And one for Mr. Ethan. He handed them both the tiny flowers, grinning. Ethan looked down at the boy, then at Lily, and something unspoken passed between them. A promise. A beginning. The camera pulls back slowly, the park bathed in golden sunlight, laughter echoing softly. The once lonely CEO had finally found what he didn't know he was searching for. A home, a heart, and a reason to stay.